Hey guys, how's it going? It's your boy MKS here, back with another video. Slightly later than planned, although I did think of the idea quite late on. But anyway, as the title hopefully alludes to or suggests, I would love to discuss ways in which YouTube, TikTok, and possibly others could help people from often, or all too often, disadvantaged backgrounds. For instance, maybe POC or people of color, disabled people, or others that might have disadvantages in the job market to sort of level the playing field, if you like. I put disadvantaged with the advantaged part in speech, in block capitals rather, to sort of emphasize or signify that this could help them go from being disadvantaged to being more, at least slightly more advantaged, perhaps. And I often put like disabled with the able bit, or able or abled bit being in block capitals as well. So it's like sort of putting the ability into disability and seeing what disabled people can do. So I was initially thinking of like talking about, or rather asking, I suppose, to the audience, potential audience, what YouTube, TikTok, and others could do to support people in Africa specifically. So African content creators or influencers or whatnot, whatever term you want to use. I suppose I should use those terms interchangeably. But then I thought of other groups like disabled people or whatnot. In March, I kind of want to part of me wants to talk about what I call the six, but because it's the third month of the year, I'm sort of stuck in two minds about that. But basically, I was thinking like what YouTube, TikTok, and others could do to help. And initially, as I say, it was African, especially Black African YouTubers and TikTok. But then the idea expanded to like other groups, like maybe disabled people, maybe even my fellow dyslexics. Some people class dyslexia as a disability, not dyspraxics, people with ADHD and other related conditions, which I often talk about. And I suppose all like dyslexic people, many dyslexic people, and people with ADHD conditions can often have lack of access to employment or employment opportunities, careers, and things like that. So YouTube, TikTok, and whatnot could be opportunities for careers. And the idea is also expanded to like thinking about and talking about perhaps and asking the potential audience, as I say, what you think could be done to help more Black and often disadvantaged people to get careers in tech. I don't want to see it like as in like they can't achieve, but obviously they could be helped to achieve more, if that makes sense. But I want to put the idea out there and discuss. Someone's rumbling for some reason. I don't know if you can hear that. But I just want to put the idea out there and talk about and put the question out there and see what ideas we can come up with. Maybe even people from those often disadvantaged backgrounds themselves, people from Africa and around the world as well. So I'd love to support, for instance, Indigenous, Australasian, i.e. Aboriginal, Torres and Strait Pacific Islander, and Maori, Aboriginal Maori influencers, Aboriginal content creators, as say disabled and even dyslexic or ADHD content creators and influencers, and obviously Indigenous African influencers. I know YouTube, for instance, has like projects where it often helps Black content creators, but they could also be like things that help Native American influencers and content creators, and also Asian influencers and struggle content creators, and maybe even ones from Latin America as well. So maybe if they can also benefit their countries' economies, so emerging market economies, I think would be pretty cool. Maybe as people who view YouTube, TikTok, and things like that, we could help by giving and supporting them as much as we can as well. But I was wondering what YouTube, TikTok, and others could do as organisations. I know they probably argue they already do a few things, but I wonder what they could do even more, or maybe they could even talk about like YouTube. If they saw these videos, could talk about things, or maybe people could ask them like what sort of things if people can find a way to contact YouTube, which I believe is owned by Google, and also TikTok and whatnot, like maybe ask them what do you do for disabled YouTubers or other YouTubers who come from often disadvantaged backgrounds. So I'd love to know what you think about the ideas I discuss as ever. Yeah, but I probably should try and keep these as short and sweet as possible. I normally do try, so it's probably for the best. I can't think of much else to say. But yeah, if you have any comments, questions, queries, or anything you want to comment generally, please feel free to post below. But I'd love to know and say what if anything you think could be done and or should be done to help influencers, content creators, or whatever you want to call them, from across Africa, Asia, Latin America, indigenous communities in the Americas, like Native Americans, and Aboriginals and people like that, which I hope will financially / economically empower them, and also how they could be helped in other areas like tech, business, and things like that. Probably waffling now, but I can't think of much else to say. I am on that note. I am out. Peace and love.